If healing has started to feel endless, like there's always another emotion to work through, another pattern to break, or another part of yourself to fix, the problem may not be that you haven't done enough. You may have fallen into the fixing trap. Welcome to the Pathway Back, a journey of reconnecting with your wholeness, reclaiming your worth, and restoring your peace. I'm Shelley, founder of Haven for Inner Stillness, where I help you create meaningful change without forcing, fixing, or fighting yourself. Hey there. Thanks for listening in. Today, we're going to talk about what happens when healing starts to feel like something you're always working toward, but never quite reaching. Because most of us don't begin this journey wanting to spend the rest of our lives working on ourselves. We just want to feel better. We want to stop hurting, stop overthinking everything, stop getting so overwhelmed, shutting down, doubting ourselves, and stop ending up in the same patterns we can't seem to change. We want to feel like ourselves again. And we want to know that all the things we've already done to heal are actually making a difference. But sometimes it can start to feel like there's always something else to work on, another trigger, another reaction, another pattern, another part of yourself that still doesn't feel healed. And even when you think you've made progress, one hard day can make you feel like you're right back at square one. You start wondering, why am I still struggling with this? I thought I was doing better. How much more of this do I have to do? And after a while, healing can start to feel less like something that's helping you live your life and more like something your life revolves around, especially if you've been putting in a lot of work. You've journaled, gone to therapy, worked on your mindset, tried to be more positive, learned all about your triggers and patterns, tried to calm or regulate your emotions, tried meditation or mindfulness, tried to let go, move on, or stop letting things bother you so much. But when the same feelings, triggers, or patterns show up again, it can start to feel like nothing's changed. Or if it has, it doesn't feel like enough. And this is where I think healing can quietly turn into a trap. Instead of helping you find peace, feel relief, or like you're making any progress, it becomes a never ending process. There's always one more thing you need to fix, one more painful emotion you can't seem to shake, one more thing about yourself you need to change. And it can get discouraging because you've worked so hard, done everything right, but you still feel stuck. This is what I call the fixing trap. When I was trying to heal, I kept focusing on fixing, managing, or controlling myself, managing my emotions, thinking more positively, changing my behavior, controlling my reactions. But nothing seemed to work. I knew how I should feel, but I still didn't feel it. I knew what I should do, but I still couldn't do it. So my focus kept going back to what I still needed to change. And after a while, it started to feel like I was the thing that needed changing, that there was something wrong with me and I needed to be fixed. And this is where the trap can catch you. Because when you believe you need fixing, then every new approach, new tool, new practice, or new method can become another voice telling you you need to be different to be whole. So every feeling that comes back, every trigger that still gets to you, every pattern you haven't quite changed can become proof that you're still broken. healing can turn into a measuring system for brokenness rather than a way to feel whole. You start measuring your progress by what still shows up. Do I still get triggered? Do I still overthink? Do I still shut down? Do I still take things personally? Do I still fall into the same pattern? And every time the answer is yes, it can feel like evidence that you're not there yet, that you haven't healed enough. There's more to fix, that you're not yet worthy, whole, or enough as you are. And soon, healing can start to feel like a destination you never quite reach. That can be exhausting. But let me share something I learned in my own healing journey. Your pain is not proof that you are broken. It's showing you where you believe you are. And those beliefs are what's keeping you in the pain or the pattern you're trying to get out of. When you don't believe you're whole, you feel like something is missing. When you don't believe you're worthy, you feel like you're not enough. When you don't believe you're lovable, valuable, or important, you feel like you don't matter. And those feelings hurt. So, to protect yourself from feeling that way, you look for reassurance to feel like you're still loved. You shut down or withdraw to protect yourself from being hurt again. You hold back to avoid being judged, rejected, or misunderstood. You overgive or people please to feel needed or valued. You second guess yourself because getting it wrong can feel like it says something about your worth. So your pain or your patterns might hurt or feel frustrating, but they also make sense and they're telling you something. They're showing you the places where you don't believe you are whole, not that you aren't. Understanding that was a big shift for me because when I stopped trying to fix the pain and started listening to what it was showing me, I began to see where the pain was really coming from. That I was looking for my sense of worth, value, and peace in things I couldn't control. The way I was treated, what others thought of me, whether they approved of or agreed with me, whether things worked out the way I wanted. And the problem was, relying on those things is what was creating the pain I was then trying to heal. Because it wasn't only what happened or how other people treated or thought of me that hurt, it was what I was believing those things meant about who I was. That I wasn't enough, that I wasn't lovable, that I wasn't valuable or important. And when I began to see that, I began to understand why I felt so broken. It wasn't because I was broken, it was because I believed I was. I had allowed other people and the things that happened to convince me that something was wrong with me. That when what felt true for me was dismissed, overlooked, ignored, or disapproved of, it meant that I didn't matter. And so I kept trying to be who I thought other people needed me to be so I would be accepted, valued, needed, chosen, or approved of. But in trying to be what someone else wanted, I had lost sight of who I was. I was trying to become someone who was worthy or complete while measuring myself by something other than me. And that's when I realized I didn't need to fix myself. I needed to find myself. I needed to find my way back to the truth of who I was. So I started paying attention to what painful or triggering moments seemed to be saying about me. Not just that I was hurt, anxious, or angry, but what was I believing about myself that was causing me to feel that way? If someone did something that hurt, why did it hurt? What did I believe it meant about me that caused me to be hurt? If something happened that made me anxious, why did I feel anxious? What did I believe about myself in that situation that would cause me to feel anxious? Once I could see those beliefs, I could begin questioning whether they were actually true. Was I really not lovable? Was I really not important, not valuable, not worthy? Or was it the measuring system I had been using telling me that I wasn't? Because if that was the case, then my healing would always be in the hands of someone or something else. My worth would always be something I had to earn, something I had to prove. There would always be something else I needed to adjust about myself to suit someone else, something else I needed to do differently, something else I needed to fix. And my wholeness would always depend on what someone else or something outside of me seemed to say was true about who I was. That's when I began to see my pain differently. It wasn't showing me something that needed fixing. It was showing me where I was measuring myself by things that were never meant to define my worth in the first place. And that changed the way I approached healing. Instead of constantly looking at my pain as a sign that I was broken, I began seeing it as something that could show me where I believed I wasn't whole, so I could begin returning to the truth that I was. Because that is the truth. Wholeness isn't something you achieve by healing enough. It's something you reconnect with because you're already whole. And that's not about fixing yourself. It's about finding your way back to yourself. So if you feel like you've been caught in the fixing trap and you'd like to approach your healing from a different place, this is the kind of shift I help you make inside Pathway Back to Wholeness, not by giving you more things to fix, but by helping you understand what your pain is showing you, to help you see where you've been measuring your wholeness outside of yourself and reconnect with the wholeness that already exists within you. So wholeness can become less about something you're trying to become and more about something you can begin returning to. You'll find more information in the episode description. If your healing has started to feel endless, or you're tired of always finding something else you need to work on, the pathway back begins when you stop seeing your pain as proof that you're not whole and start seeing it as something that can show you where you've forgotten that you are. Until next time, right here with you on the pathway back.